The Weekly Warp Pipe.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Weekly Warp Pipe, a podcast dedicated to retro video games, 80s and 90s toys, and all things nostalgia. This week, we're going in the Warp Pipe and going back, taking a look at Jaws. It is Shark Week, and I thought it'd be appropriate to talk about Jaws. Jaws on NES, the movies, maybe the ride at Universal, some of the experiences and lore around the awesome Jaws franchise. What's up, Jay? So good. Yeah, classic music too, for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's been used so in like so many other like skits or movies or people wearing like a fake fin. And,
Right.
like, you're like, oh, gotta do the Jaws music there for sure.
Gotta do it.
Nice. Yeah, we're celebrating Jaws week. I got my Jaws tank top on. I got a few of these. I actually have a few that are like similar to this, but instead of the shark, it has a Jawa from Star Wars, so it says Jawas.
Do you have the one that has the kitten and it says Paul's?
I think I have a magnet of that one, but yes, I know that one. Pause. I was like, that's a good one. Yeah, they got a few variations, so anytime I see one, I grab one.
That's right.
Yeah, I watched the movie the other day. It's been quite some time since I've seen the movie, and me and Steph were at a video store and I had seen it, and I was like, oh, Jaws is coming up. I gotta pick it up. I think it's that one too. What do you got? The collector's
Yeah, it's kind of shiny.
anniversary edition, right?
Yeah, 20th anniversary edition. My wife got me this for our 1-year anniversary or a wedding gift. I can't remember, but I've had it for like 12 years.
Nice.
But yeah, it's a classic movie.
Yeah, I had sat down with Steph to watch it, and she got most of the way through it. She did have to get up early the next day, so she kind of bailed out. So I finished watching it alone. I did put a little couple notes in my phone on the movie. Let's see. I put that the first kill actually happens about 15 minutes into the movie
Yeah.
on a raft, and it's like there's a good amount of blood.
Isn't it the chick? She's like going for a skinny dip or something?
Well, I want to say
Or is that the second kill?
that. Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's the skinny dipping chick is the first kill, and then the second one is a younger boy on a raft, and then you just see all this blood come up because the first one is at nighttime, so you don't see much. You see her go down, and
Right.
she's like struggling, and you're like, okay, which is great with this. How they kind of make it very stalker like, and they leave a lot to the imagination where the full screen time of Jaws is probably like 10 minutes. He's probably on screen
Very little.
like 10 minutes the whole movie. So it's like very quick. Maybe you're just seeing a fin and
Right.
then the person's going under. So your imagination is like, oh my God, like what is happening
Right.
and that. So
How
I
big
thought-
is this shark?
right. And then let's see, what else did I put in here? Oh, talk about that zooming dolly shot on the actor's face when he's hanging at the beach, and they had told everyone to not go swimming, but no one was listening, and then there's a shark attack, and it cuts back to him, and they do like a zoom in, but then they're also like pulling back the camera, so the background's doing this weird thing, and it gives you this like uneasy feeling. I don't know if you remember.
Is it where he has a
What-
cigarette in his mouth?
I don't think so. I wonder if I could probably look up a YouTube video of it.
You know what? I meant to watch this today before we talked about this, but it looks like I'll be watching it after.
Let's see. So is it Jaws zooming effect?
Also,
There
while
we
you're
go.
talking about that, this picture, iconic poster,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
looking straight up, watching her. She's swimming. He looks humongous. He looks like
That's what I'm saying. Like it
megalodon.
looks like how deep the ocean is, like from him coming up from there. I feel like that scene is that supposed to be the first girl that went swimming. That's
It's
what I
more
was
of it's
assuming.
more like in shallow water than that. I mean, it looks like she's swimming in like 20-foot water.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in the middle of the night. That's one thing I never understood is people swimming in the dark. Like, are you just asking to get murdered?
Like in a pool, yeah, that's fine.
You ever seen you ever
But a
s-
lake, ocean,
you ever seen Soul Surfer? Bet with
no,
Hamilton
no.
about the surfer that got her arm bit off.
Okay.
So they live out in Hawaii, and they are all like swimming in the dark. And I guess that was like a thing they did. Like, you must have to have cojones of steel to swim. I ain't doing it.
Okay, so here's vertigo effect.
So somebody's like on a raft swimming, they're flapping their arms and their
So
legs.
this is like the second attack,
And oh, there you see a fin and a
and then you watch his face essentially.
oh, look at the blood.
I know.
Oh wow. Bubbles and blood.
See that?
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
So they're pulling back and zooming in like
At
at
the
the same
same
time.
time.
So it gives you
I
that
wonder
like
how many shots it took to get that right.
right, and you got to have your camera on like a dolly and all that. So that's been done before, but I think that was probably the first time I've seen it done.
Yeah, that was cool.
Um, so we could get into some facts. This came out in 1975.
Yeah, which kind of blew my mind. I was looking that up today. I was like, wow. I
You're like,
was I was 6 years old by the time I was born, and you as well. When did it drop? Do you know?
um, what do you mean drop? Like,
Like in theaters, like what day did it come out?
oh,
Was it like a summer, like June 3rd or something, like a summer
let's see.
flick?
We're on the IMDb here. Does that let me know somewhere? I assume it would. Cast, crew, production. You would think it would have it somewhere quickly here, but I don't see. Yeah, when I imagine it was a summer blockbuster.
You would think, right? I saw
Gee, gee-
70.
Geez, IMDb, like be more organized. It got an 8.1 rating out of 10.
That's cool. There's that classic poster.
The classic poster, director, star, like yeah, there's nothing. Writer director Steven Spielberg. Well, one thing was interesting while I'm trying to find this. I didn't know it was a book first.
Ooh, yeah, I don't think I realized that either.
I was watching like the behind the scenes on the DVD, and then it mentioned that some guy made a book on it, and then they're like, "Oh, we gotta definitely cast this." So we got what else in here? They got some of the trailers.
So it
Um,
looks like it was
one for
June 20th, 1975. So I was 17 days off.
okay, so it was in June though, so that's good.
You mean you would just think like right out like kick off the summer like well technically June 21st is considered the first day of summer. So like if it came out on June 20th, which I'm guessing if they do things back then the way they do things now, that was a Thursday
Oh, okay.
or a Friday.
Right.
Um then yeah, they did it right as summer was kicking off, which is awesome.
It did win 3 Oscars, and let's see, yeah, Richard Dreyfuss was in it, Robert Shaw, Roy Schneider. Um, trying to think what else we want to so it takes place on Amity Island, which is a fictitious, town. It's not real, but
Amityville.
it was that's what I was thinking, like, okay, Amityville Horror, like, it went back to that. Um, it was filmed on Martha's Vineyard,
Okay.
which is close to me in Connecticut here,
Yeah.
because I was like, it's either at Block Island or Martha's Vineyard because both of those are, like, islandish and it's, like, close to Long Island Sound and the ocean,
Yeah.
so it could be one of those towns, and they mention, um one thing is, like, when the shark attacks and then they talk to the mayor about shutting it down, the beaches, and he's like, "We're a beach town, like, we need this, like, 4th of
Right.
July is coming, we're gonna get all the tourists,"
Yep.
and so they put a bounty on the shark's head, and then they got all these people coming out that wanna catch the shark, and he's like, "We got people coming from Connecticut, Long Island," you
Right.
know.
All those surrounding areas.
Right, so I was like, "Oh, okay," and, they end up going out there killing a shark, they take a picture and they think, this is it, and then they
This
get the specialty shark guy, and he's like, "That's not your shark leg."
Didn't they cut it open and, like, looked at all its intestines and stuff and seen every
Later on, they did. They go back and he like ate a license plate that was from
Yeah,
like
yep,
Long Island or Jersey, but there was like no body parts in there. Um, what else did I say I put in here? Right. So the mayor didn't want to close the beaches. When they did open them, no one wanted to go swimming. Everyone was
right.
kind of staying on the beach for a while, and then they ended up finally going in the water. People were having a good time, and then they saw a shark. Everyone lost their mind, going nuts. Turns out
It
it
was
was
a kid, right?
2 kids pranking it. They
Yeah,
had a little scuba gear and a little fin, and I was like, "Oh my god."
I'd be
But
so pissed.
that's when it changes because, the main character ends up seeing, his son with a group of boys, and they were bringing a boat to go into the ocean, and he's like, "You know what? Listen, go set that up at the pond over there." And
Right.
while everyone was swimming with the fake kids, the shark went over to the pond instead.
Oh, yeah.
So you're like, "Oh no, it's gonna get the kid." And that was like attack number 3. Didn't get the kid, but it got like another guy that was in a boat.
Yeah.
Um, and they said they had reshot that scene because the original one, I guess, was too gory,
Hmm.
and they kind of wanted to dial it back. Again, with that, like your imagination imagines and imagining it where
Fills
it
in some
fills
of the
it in.
gaps there.
Right.
Hmm.
Um, and then yeah, fast forward, a bunch of stuff happens. Then they finally end up getting on the boat to go hunt down Jaws, and he's chumming the water.
Right.
He's putting fish guts in the water, kind of bait Jaws out, and he's looking away like this, and then he's chumming it, and then he looks back, and that's the first time you get a real good look at
Yeah.
Jaws. He comes up out of the water, and he just starts backing up. He's got the cigarette in his mouth. Kind of
Yeah.
almost reminded me of Ray in Ghostbusters when he like
Yeah.
sees the ghost and he has the cigarette dangling.
That may have been what I was thinking of earlier when I was talking about the cigarette,
Could have been.
when I was thinking of Joel's.
But he backs up and then, he says the line,
We're gonna
"We're
need a
gonna
bigger boat.
we're gonna need a bigger boat," which they said was improvised. That wasn't in the script, yet it's, like, the most iconic, like, catchphrase.
That's amazing. I
So for
bet they were
him to
like,
just
"This
pull
is
that out.
gold. We're gonna leave it in here."
Right, and it's like, "Okay, that makes sense, like, this is a huge fish, now I see it in person. We need a
Yeah.
bigger ship to
We're
to
gonna need a
tackle
bigger
this."
boat.
But from there out, it ends up, it's like the final battle,
Yep.
essentially. So they're just going back and forth with it. So yeah, overall, it holds up. I thought it was really great. And it's interesting to see a movie from the '70s, how they approach it, how they film it, how it's like cinematic.
I mean, it's 48 years old. In
Right.
2 years, it's gonna be 50 years old. That's blows my mind.
And it still holds up today. Now, then I had looked up, I knew they had made a sequel, and then I was like, I'm pretty sure they had Jaws 3 as well, which was in 3D as well. Look at that, you got them both. But then I didn't know there was also a Jaws 4.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
they did 4 of them.
I don't remember what the second one is about. I remember the third one, and I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure I remember the fourth one. The second one, or sorry, the third one it takes place like around Florida and SeaWorld.
Okay.
So that's kind of cool. And then the fourth one, it takes place on an island. Now I don't know if it's somewhere in the Caribbean or if it's in Hawaii, but basically like the mom from the original movies in it, and like it's like Jaws has like this vendetta against their family and like finds them. Like, how do you find them on this?
Stalks them.
Yes, talks them on this island. Like he just knows they're there.
What's great is, so I looked up, so if you guys don't know, for whatever reason, I don't know why they chose this, but we're gonna get into talking about the Nintendo game. The Nintendo game, I guess, is basically based on the 4th movie, because when you do beat the NES game, you take a plane and it's in like a Caribbean sunset or
Yep.
whatever. I don't know how much other that they pulled. I mean, you're taking your ship and there's islands, so I guess that's
Yeah.
close to it. But I was like, why wasn't it based on the first, second, or third one.
You know, Russ, I was thinking about this a few weeks ago. I know one thing they could have done to make this game so much better.
Okay.
You should have had like not had mandatory drops where you have to go in the ocean, but like instead you can drop your anchor wherever,
Okay.
because there's times when you have lots of conch shells and all you want to do is get to the other port
Right.
to level up faster. And then they'll set you right in the like jellyfish field, and like one of them will eventually hit you that it's going, like at like an angle,
Yep.
and then you lose like I don't know how many, like a fourth of your conch shells when you could have turned them in and powered up.
Right.
Now, I think the reason they didn't do this was because landing in different spots, you get like, you know, some higher water, some lower water. You get more jellyfish, you get more stingray, you get more sharks. But that could have been on a randomizer. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
They could have still made it where you didn't know what you were getting, but at least you could drop when you wanted to.
Right. Um,
That's my only qualms with this game. And I can't tell you how many times I've had tons of shells and lost half of them because I got nailed.
fair enough. So Jaws, it was published by the infamous LJN. Came out November 1987. It says it's loosely based on the film franchise of the same name, specifically Jaws: The Revenge, the fourth and final film in the series.
And it says this time there's no escape.
The box art is modeled heavily after the theatrical poster, and the back of the box mentions like it's personal, perhaps as a reference to said the movie's tagline.
This time it's personal.
Right. However, the game does take elements from the first film. It is one of several LJN published titles produced by the Japanese company Atlas, although Westone was subcontracted to actually develop it.
And
Um,
I think this game does get overlooked for
and
being.
in some flack, I think too,
I
for
think
like
it's a lot better than people say it is. And also, I just want to point
right.
out, I bought mine uh, around 5/23, 2014 for $5.
There you go.
Just a random fact.
Yeah, again with the angry video game nerd like shining light on it or whatever, then most people are like, "Oh, what is this game? It's crap." Like, I think a lot of people are confused on how to play the game essentially.
Right.
Let's see.
But when you
Now
do
these I didn't know. It does say there was separate computer adaptation ad yeah,
adaptation,
adaptation of the original Jaws movie called Jaws: A Computer Game, released in 1989 by Screen 7 for the Amiga, which I'd never seen before, and for the Commodore 64 as simply Jaws by Box Office Software. So I've never seen gameplay of those.
yeah, me either.
Um,
Wonder if it's the same.
so it does say in the game, the player pilots a boat across the sea, randomly encountering groups of hostile sea creatures. When the boat hits something in the overhead map, the perspective changes to the side view. The player's boat releases a diver who battles various undersea threats such as jellyfish, rays, and smaller sharks. Now, I did just live stream this, and I did beat it. It took me, I think, 25 minutes because, again, you get into this. Basically, all you have to do is you start at one port, you get enough shells, and you bring your ship to the next port. You level up, you go back to the original port, level up again,
But
and so forth.
how much crap is it that the first one you get is the Jaws tracker, which you
Right.
don't even need.
I know because like you see his fin and hear like him coming.
Yeah, you don't need the "Whoopee, whoopee."
But what Jay was saying and everything, it almost plays like an RPG game where you're in the water and then you're struck by a random battle. And then so you go underwater and then there's no indication when this will end. You're fighting jellyfish. I'm not sure if it's by how many you kill, how many points you get, or if it's
Right,
like a timer, like you're here for a minute. So
right.
it finally goes back to when you're on the boat. And a lot of the times I forget which port I was driving to. So then I go to
Mm.
the wrong one, and then it's like, nope. Now I got to go back out, and then I hit another, you know,
And all the while,
scenario.
you're increasing the chances of getting struck by one of those darn jellyfish.
Right. Um, there is a bonus level as well, which a lot of times once I'm leveled up, I don't want the bonus levels anymore because then it's just
Oh, the
slowing down my game.
airplane?
Yeah, the airplane, and you're literally bombing jellyfish from an
You know,
airplane.
for as many creatures are in the sea, couldn't they have thought of a few more interesting creatures? Maybe a orca attacks you. Maybe there's some octopus swimming around, you know? Maybe a marlin stabs you. They could have did anything.
We got that's it. It's three sea creatures: jellyfish, stingrays, and baby sharks.
That's
The
it.
only- And then
Do,
you're
do, do. Just kidding.
you're collecting points so you can get a starfish or a crab, but they are only points. They are not enemies,
No, 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 no. But
right?
did you know the crab actually speeds up how fast you swim?
Oh, I did not know this.
Now you know. No
So
one's
now,
half the battle.
yo, Joe. So yeah, then your guy can swim around faster. And then there's another way. I don't know how it spawns, but you can get a yellow submarine.
Yeah, and it's usually, like, hidden somewhere randomly, like because there's generally a lot of areas on the map that I don't even bother traveling. I just try to take the most direct route from port to port.
Right. So it does say here the player can also find a submarine, which appears at random places in the game map. The submarine is an upgrade with two weapons, torpedoes and depth charges, and much less inertia than the diver.
But, hey, I want you to know that it was not made by Ocean Gate.
I dig it. I'll allow it.
Jaws might kill you, but the depths of the ocean won't.
That's right. Um, Now, I know we're talking about the NES game. There were other games as well that came out. There was one on the PS2 where you play as Jaws attacking people.
That sounds rad, actually.
I don't know if it came out on Xbox, but then there was also one on the Wii and on the 3DS. And
Mm,
those all those you play as Jaws. So the NES one is the only one that you play as a regular person attacking Jaws.
I need Nintendo to make another 8-bit Jaws game.
Well, we
A
did talk
side
about
scroller. I don't know.
well, we talked about Jaws 2 in my live stream on what I would like to see, and I said, you know, it would have been great to expand that map. It's a very small map, and I said they should have made it larger, where instead of just having those two ports,
Like multiple ports.
multiple ports, so you could go far out into the ocean with more exploring. Like you could explore around more in Star Tropics in your little submarine.
Yeah. Maybe even there's like a really far port that you can get more points if you make it to the farthest point, but maybe there's like, you know, maybe you encounter orcas and blue whales or something that can hurt you. I don't know.
Right. I mean, they could have went all in where, you know, you do go ashore and maybe you have to get supplies. You have to go get more
You
harpoons
go
and
get a
talk
bigger boat.
go get a bigger boat. You have to save up. You got to talk to people in the village. Like I don't know. Could have been a lot more. Um, let's see.
Do you find it's very rewarding when you finally land that strike and you see Jaws float to the bottom and then you're playing?
Yes, yes.
It's a very quick ending, but man, when you get him, it feels so good.
Right. So the final scene, it cuts and it's like first person and you see Jaws coming down at you and you have to press the button to get him to pop up out of the water and he'll turn and then
Do you
that's when you're supposed to spear him with the boat.
do you find that your patience gets a little thin when trying to because you're trying to line him up because you want him to line up directly with the front of your boat for that, I don't know what
Right.
you would call it, the spear portion. But if he's off to the left or the right, you're gonna miss him.
Right. And he'll be coming in and then he moves quickly and you're like, "Come on,
Yeah.
line up."
There's been
It's
times when I feel like I've had it lined up and I've jabbed and I still miss somehow. So I'm still not 100% on the timing, but
also too, I don't know if he's too close, like if you have to have him be a certain
I
distance.
feel like
I think
there's lines across the
right.
water, and I think it's I can't remember if because I'm not looking at it, but it's either the first or the second line towards the bottom that you really want him lined up with.
Right. we'll see. We did ask you guys if you had any stories and this and that. I don't know if because I posted, we knew the topic earlier, so I posted on Monday. So maybe people didn't come check, but we didn't get too many people responding. But we got some funny responses, so we'll read those still, anyways.
What did you say? What did you say?
Springfield, let's hear from you.
I will shoot over to our Instagram page. You can follow us at the Weekly Warp Pipe. And we got Scruffy Gift. Good old Michael Bennett
Scruffy.
said this movie scared me so bad it took 30 years for me to watch it again.
I always watched it on like USA, like when it came on like USA or something. So they took a lot of the bad parts out.
Oh yeah, huh? I didn't even think of that being on TV. So that everything had to be left to your imagination.
Right.
Um,
Are there sharks at all in this movie?
right. I haven't seen anything. What else we got? Then we got our Facebook page as well. And Christopher said he named his robot vacuum Bruce.
Nice.
Now, if you don't know, the mechanical shark in Jaws was named Bruce.
You know what's funny? My robot vacuum is named Megalodon.
Oh, see, there you go.
True story.
You guys could have them fight.
Bruce versus Megalodon.
And then let's see what else we got. Oh, we got our YouTube community page. And Jay Rit said, "Fish are friends, not food." Probably not the Bruce you were referring to, but that's exactly what came to my mind. Thanks for the podcast, guys.
Who says that? Fish are
Um,
friends, not food.
I want to say that's in Finding Nemo because
Oh
the shark
yeah.
in Finding Nemo
His
is
name is
named
Bruce.
Bruce
That's
as a
right.
throwback to Jaws.
That's hilarious. I didn't even pick up on that.
See, so that's pretty cool. Um, yeah, like I said, I wanted to watch the second one, but they don't have it streaming anywhere for free. Like I have to pay to rent it on YouTube. Jay's got the DVDs, so and I tried to find. I was like, maybe they could have like a legal version on YouTube, but I couldn't even find that. So
Russ, you'll just have to fly your butt down to South Carolina and we'll watch it together.
I
Because it's
guess
still
so.
sealed. It's still sealed. You'll know I haven't watched it without you.
That's not a real reseal.
Not a reseal. Original factory.
We could also chat about the ride. So they had the ride at Universal Studios,
Mm-hmm.
which has since been taken down,
Oh,
unfortunately, to make room for other rides.
for something dumber.
But let's see. Jaws, the amusement ride attraction, was based on the film series. It originally opened in Orlando in 1990,
Wow.
and another installation opened in Universal Studios Japan in
Ooh.
2001. The ride uses tour boats to get the guests through a harbor of the fictional Amity Island, which begins as a leisure tour that is abruptly interrupted by an attack of the famous great white shark. So he comes up out of the water. Again, a nice mechanical one. The concept is expanded version of the Jaws miniature attraction featured in the studio tour at Universal Studios Hollywood in California. In 2012, though, the attraction was removed from the Florida theme park to make room for the second phase of expansion for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
Which nobody cares about.
No one even went to that. The original attraction at Universal Florida was inspired by a small attraction in the long-running studio tour. Yep, they mentioned that. Um, let's see, any other fun facts on this? Now, I did ride it. I did go. I don't know if you ever got to go on it at least once. No.
I've only lived it vicariously through YouTube videos.
Yeah. So I've got to go on that and the Back to the Future ride, which has also been removed from there. Um, it was neat. Yeah, it was like, okay, cool. Like you know it's gonna come out and you know it's fake, like
Right.
whatever, but it's still cool to see. And you're like, yeah, Jaws, like, but they still have merchandise that you can purchase from there. Like get tank tops and t-shirts of that. But the one ride off topic that is still there is ET though, has stand the test of time.
That's cool.
Hell yeah.
Also by Steven Spielberg.
See, there
Or
you
is it
go.
Steven Spielberg?
Um, what do we got? Ride symptoms after
Right
the shark.
synopsis.
Oh, I was like symptoms, like sickness, throwing up. I
Fear
can't.
fear
I'm
of
sorry.
sharks.
Fear of sharks. um, the ride itself. Oh, what is this? Little pictures of there was fire.
Yeah. Looks like the Titanic. There's the lighthouse. There's the shark.
It's a shark itself. With all the pictures they had, the logo.
I saw something interesting right
Page.
there. Oh, it said incident. July 1990, a 39-year-old man fell into the water riding after a boat railing allegedly broke. According to his lawyer, guests applauded as he was something. I can't read because you scroll down a little bit.
Oh, oh yeah.
Guests applauded as he was being pulled back into the boat, having assumed the incident was part of the ride. There was no serious injuries, and he sued Universal for $1 million in negligence and poor maintenance.
Wow.
Wow.
And you got
Jinx.
one heck of a story
Yeah.
to tell.
That's funny that everybody was, like, clapping like it was, like it was supposed to happen. That's so
Well,
fun.
that's probably because they had like those live action shows like on the water, like the Miami Vice
And it's
ones or whatever.
and they said it started in 1990, so that was July of '90.
Hmm.
I was just an 8 and 9-year-old lad when this man fell into the water and almost got eaten by mechanical jaws.
Now they did say, to take it back to the movies a little bit with the behind the scenes, they did have issues with this shark
They did.
working. They said they tested it all on land and it was on this big rig that it was connected to so they can like bring it over to do whatever it had to do, but I guess it was having trouble in the water. So,
Yeah, I think the salt water was causing some issues with the hydraulics on it or something.
and then they also ended up making some sharks where like they had a right version where you would see the shark itself from this side, but then on the back side of it, it was open and you'll be able to see all the internal structures. So they only use that on the right side if the shark was coming. And
Mhm.
then they made a left version as well to shoot shots like that. But if anything went wrong, the back of it was open, so then they can fix it. So having multiple sharks on set.
I just had an amazing question I was gonna ask you about it, and I totally my ADD kicked in so hard, and I can't remember what it was, but it was gonna be, revolutionary.
Blast.
I'm sorry to withhold that from you guys now.
But I mean, yeah, other than they like you said with Megalodon. Oh, you thought about
Yeah, I remembered.
jumping all
I
right.
was gonna ask, it isn't there an episode of the movies that made us with Jaws?
Oh yeah, I'm trying to
Because
think.
I bet there's a lot of, like, background information on why that mechanical shark didn't move on that, if
Also,
unless I'm making that up.
um, let's see. Wikipedia here, movies that made us.
Is Jaws one of them?
Home Alone, Ghostbusters, Die Hard, Season 2, Back to the Future, Pretty Woman, Jurassic Park, Forrest Gump. Season 3 was all like the horror movies. No, I guess it wasn't on there.
Oh, I guess I made that up in my brain.
You made it up in your brain. But, but side note, I did get a flyer, and there is a Broadway play having to do with Jaws, but it's about like the production of Jaws, about how the shark like wasn't working because the flyer, I'll see if I can look it up, has like the shark, but his eyes like popping out with like a spring on it or something like that.
Oh, man, that sounds funny.
So I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
A Shark is Broken
the
is the
shark.
name of the Broadway play.
I like it.
Let me see if I can get a picture of the flyer that I got.
Hey, if you're watching this on YouTube, leave in the comments if you've beaten the NES game. I wanna know.
Right.
And
Said
do you
some
like it?
because if you know how to play it, you could honestly beat the game in probably like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, I'd say if you're really good, 10 to 15, but it's definitely able to be done under 30. I don't know what
Let's
that is.
see. Oh, that's VHS night. I thought it was a picture of that. But The Shark is Broken by Ann Shawn and Joseph
Nixon.
Nixon. Um,
Looks
what-
funny.
let's see. Where is this taking me? I thought they had like an IMDb. So, because I had just gone to a Broadway play. So I was like, oh, they're probably targeting me. Hey, you like this play? Head over here.
After we get off, I know I'm going to be eating some late night snacks that I shouldn't eat and watch this.
Well, I should have thought, speaking of, I should have, when I did my live stream, I should have had
You should have gummy sharks.
gummy sharks. I was going to say shark bites, but they don't make those anymore.
Yeah, gummy sharks. They have like little blue ones.
Right. Those are the ones to get for sure.
You should do a snacky snack time Jaws edition.
That's true. I can fit something in this week.
There
Get
you
all the
go.
shark themed foods.
Yeah, get on it.
For sure. Because other than watching like Jaws, I was like, I don't know how else I'll be celebrating for Shark Week.
I have tons of Discovery Channel Shark Week DVDs.
Oh, okay.
My wife's bought me over the year.
Because I was going to say I can't even watch it because I don't have cable to officially watch Shark Week.
Yeah.
It's not in any.
Russ, you're just gonna have to move to South Carolina and you can come over and watch all of my DVDs.
I guess so. I was going to bring up because the Meg came out as a shark movie for like the newer kids or whatever.
Yeah.
So someone was saying they should do like Jaws versus the Meg.
Jaws versus the Meg. I like the Meg. You know what? They should have a Family Guy episode where they're making fun of the Meg and it's just Meg
Perfect.
eating people.
I was going to briefly bring up they did have Sharknado.
Yeah.
That was the thing, the tornado of sharks. And they've made multiple ones.
Which is funny because Kevin McAllister's dad was in that movie. I can't remember his real name right now, but he was one of the actors.
Well, in the first one, they also had someone that was in like Beverly Hills 90210. I remember one of the kids from there.
Wasn't the girl from American Pie in that too?
There was a few like actresses and actors in there that I'm like, I know them. Yeah. It was the
blonde.
The blonde.
Tara something.
Tara Reid.
Tara Reid, yeah.
So, all inspired, I'm sure, by watching Jaws.
I was looking to see if I could find the dad's name on my John Hughes poster right here for the Home Alone, but I can only see his face.
But yeah, Shark Week, that sums it up in our love for Jaws, the big shark of the water there. I'm gonna have to watch the other movies. I mean, the first one's a classic. I could only assume it goes downhill from there.
The third one's actually a little bit entertaining. I don't know. There's something kind of campy about it, and it's fun that it's in SeaWorld, you know.
Gotcha. So get some charm on there.
Yeah.
We'll see. If you guys do want to call in for the show, I do have a phone number. It's 949-682-9277. You can leave us a voicemail and we'll play it on the show.
Yeah,
you can
please.
give us topics. You can tell us how we're doing. You
tell
can
us
rate
how to
us.
dress.
Tell us how to dress. Check out the weeklywarpipe.com. You can find episodes there. And I just started a newsletter you guys could sign up for if you want. It's going to be bi-weekly, hopefully. Free newsletter and kind of talking about things I'm doing with my YouTube channel, future episodes for the Warp Pipe, and some other fun stuff. So definitely check that out.
Yeah.
And go check out Jay's channel.
Yeah, I haven't done anything since June, but check it out anyway. I'll get something else out soon. I need to do an unboxing. Ambiguously Brown was kind enough to send me a box. It is literally still sitting on the floor. I feel like such a jerk because he sent it to me like a month ago, and he's probably like, "When's this guy going to open it?" But I'm just waiting so I can do it on a video for you.
On a video, perfect.
And anyway, my ADD just kicked in. What was I saying?
Go check out your videos. I don't know.
Yeah, come watch my videos. Check me out on TikTok. I don't know. Who cares?
That's about it. Cool, guys. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Hopefully we'll see you guys next week. As always, I'm Russ Lyman, and keep your world fun bit by bit.
Dun, 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 dun.